So hello there. Okay, so today we're going to make a ski hat. Now I've got this one and it literally is just a prop. Made it 5 seconds ago, and I can talk you through how I made this one, and I'm going to make this one slightly different. So I'm halfway through doing something that I need for later, but I thought it would save time if I did it before I started. So what I've done is I've got a big ball of wool and I'm just winding it around my hand. I'm just going to take the scissors and very carefully I'm going to, yes, so I've got these. Okay, now these are for my mohawk for later. But it does take a minute and I thought it would be boring for you. Okay, so I have another prop as well, which is just a woolen hat. Now, I'm not using this for the pattern, but I did think it was interesting for you to see that it is a dome. Yeah, so that's the basic hat shape. Now, obviously, this has got a lot more stretch than the fleece that we'll be using. Now, I'm quite a fan of fleece. It's very easy to sew. You don't need any specialist needles. Like if you were sewing fur, fake fur, fun fur, you would have to use a ballpoint needle. And what that does is it pushes the fibres away, so it doesn't pierce the fibres. Whereas fleece, you just push through. It's made out of recycled milk bottles, those plastic ones. I know, isn't it amazing? So yeah, it's good fun. It's quite hard wearing as well. The only problem I do have with fleece, and you probably don't have this problem, is that I can't tell the right side from the wrong side, but after a couple of washes you can. So if you can tell the difference, that's fine. If you can keep the same sides to the same sides, then that's fine. Yeah, because it's a bit fluffy and this one's a bit woofy. No, I can't tell any different, but I will do after a couple of washes. So I'm counteracting that by I'm cutting it on the fold, so I know that I've got one this way, so whichever way round I do it, I'm covered, because I will notice, and it is just me. Alright, so the other thing you need is tape measure. Measure my head, widest point of my head. Yeah, so that is 23 inches. Now, I know from my childhood and riding horses that there's only 3 sizes of heads. Now, there is a smaller one than these 3 sizes, and there is a bigger one. So, and I know I've got the middle size head, so, but please do, even if you just use a bit of string, as long as it's got no stretch on it, and then you can work out half of that by folding it in half. The other measurement I need is the measurement where I'd like my hat to sit. Now, I'd like it to sit quite low down at the base of my skull, and I would like it not to fall over my eyes. Okay, that sounds fair, that sounds completely reasonable. So I am now on a good 15, okay? Now there's only one seam and that goes right round the top, and it's entirely up to you whether you do it's pretty much an inch fold over the edge there, and I thought that would just keep it snug. But you don't have to put the hem in it, and in fact in this one I'm not putting the hem in it. What I'm going to do is decorate the hat with a blanket stitch with the same wool that I'm using for my mohawk. Yeah, it seems a long time ago since I said that we were making a ski hat. So measurement, widest part of the head, yeah, 23. Take that, fold your tape measure in half, or do a little bit of maths. Half of 23 is going to be, I really don't know off the top of my head. Oh, I'm going to go for 11.5. So I've got my 11.5. Okay. Now, all I'm doing, oh, you can come down here. You've seen enough of me, haven't you? Is I'm using the 11.5 and I'm writing a dotted line. There's a reason for this, and I'll explain later. It's because I don't want my hat to be flat, actually. I want my hat to be dome shape. I want it to be skull shaped. So now I've got my length, which we know was 16. Now you can kind of do it like that. Yeah, just curve it round. You can use another hat as a guide, but I know for a fact what I want to do is I want this there you go back a bit. I know basically what shape it is, so we're going for a dome. Yeah, and I've done it in a dotted line just so that I can see I need it to meet the end of my 11.5 and the beginning of my 11.5. And I've made a dome. And I also know that I need it more squarish than I do. So, the reason behind the dotted line. Now, on my head, I would like it to come back to below the back of the, blah, 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 it's that point, it's a bone. I know it's called a bone. Anyway, so I'd like it to come down further, but the front, I don't want it coming over my eyes, do I? I wouldn't be able to see. So if I lower this end by, that's 2 inches, and higher this end by 2 inches, and then draw a line, and I can check my measurements. So I've still got the right shape, and I've still got the dome, and I know what a skull looks like. So it goes up and then it curves over the top. Okay, and I should still have my 16. Now the other way you can do it is it's probably best if you take it from just above your ear. So you know you have to get to there, 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 to there. And that comes to a 7. So I need to know that this comes 7 inches above my head. Okay, so yep, there's my finger, there's my line, there's my top line. So I've now got the measurements, ish. Now, would you like ear flaps? Because we can discuss that. We can. I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to take a measurement to where I think my ear flaps would like to start. Now what I'm talking about is the Russian hats that go down here. Yeah, and they do in ski hats. And then we can put a decorated tassel there. So it needs to go down that much and it needs to be this far apart. Because my ears are not central on my head, they're quite back a bit. So from folding the tape measure in half, I would like it to go a good 6 1/4. There we go. So I know that I don't want it at the back either, so I can take a measurement to the base of my ear, and that'll be just a couple of inches. It really will. There won't be that much difference. So now I know that I want it to come down at least that much. Yeah. So I can then freehand an ear flap on. Yeah. I know. I could just tell you, okay, what you need to do is just get one of these hats. Doesn't matter. Double check the sizing, because this one's got a bit more give in it than fleece has. And there we go. And we can just draw around that. But I did want to tell you how I've done it. Now, I can't see that line very well. But I can colour it in. And there we go. Can we see that? Yeah, we can see that. I can see that now. So that's my pattern. Now, if you want to hem it, yeah, do we want a hem? You then cut out with your hem. I'm not going to hem it because I'm going to do the decorative stitch around the outside. But I do need a hem on the only seam that I'm going to sew, which is the domey one round the top. Yeah, because I'm going to sew that. But technically all I need to sew is this. If you have enough fabric, you could keep this going, this earpiece going, and then you've got a nice taggly bit which you can sew. Well, I hope that makes sense to you. It's much better for me if I teach how to draw patterns than just sew, because of where's the fun in that, you know? Technically all we're doing is a straight line. Okay, the other thing we need is we need to decide how we're going to decorate it. Now I've already decided that I'm going to do wool mohican on the hat that I made just 5 minutes ago. I made a strip that was the 16 inches long, which is the dome of my head, and I cut it out, and then I sewed it, and then I just cut it in with the scissors. Yeah, so but we'll cover, it'll be clear, I promise. I'm going to get this cut out and then we can do more. Alright. Hi, so welcome back. I've got my bits cut out. Yep, it's quite a simple shape. Obviously measure twice and you should be okay. So what I'm doing now is this is how you would make hair for a rag doll. So I'm taking my wool threads that I cut at the beginning of the video, seems such a long time ago, and I'm laying them flat on the sewing machine. I don't want them to get caught up, and then I'm just sewing a strip of fabric across the top. Yeah, it's quite simple, if not a little fiddly, but I'm only doing doing 16 inches, we know that. So I'm just taking these last ones. Now technically I don't want any left over. Yeah, that makes sense. What would I do with any that are left over? So I'm just going to take the back of it, I'm going to give it a little poof, little shake, and then I'm going to, any that fall out, I'm just going to pop them back in. So in my head, it's better to be short than it is to be leftovers. So I've now got the thrill. This is the mohawk, yeah? Alright, now I know I gave myself a little bit extra on there, so I'm going to see if this works on there. Okay. So now I've got my hat, I'm going to shake. Yeah, you'll be doing a lot of this. I'm going to shake these out and I'm going to place them in between the two bodies. Now I cut my hat on a fold, so I know I've got a right and a wrong side, and I haven't moved them, so I will just have a right and a wrong side still. So let's put that in there. Okay, so what I've got is I've got my frills tucked in, and I've got the two pieces of fleece. Now I've not measured how many pieces of fleece you can sew in one go, but it wouldn't surprise me if you could sew 4 or 5. So every couple of inches I'm just making sure that everything lines up. Now because fleece doesn't fray, it's okay if we've got these naked seams. Yeah, and it's take as much time as you need. yes, orange and luminous green are my favourite colours. In case you're wondering why there was such a strange choice. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this out to show you. This is what we've got. So this is what we've got so far. Yeah. And I'm just going to do a little add-on bit there, just because where I've stretched the fabric, there's a shortfall on this strip. But I don't think it will matter at all. So now if I was going to do it with like the one I've just made, when I'm sewing that, I did fold over a piece of fleece and then sewed it into the hem. So exactly the same, but the fleece was easier, and in a way with home sewing it's always much easier if you've just got one type of material to work with. So I'm going to pause the video and then oh, I can do this next bit actually. So what I have here is I have an oversized needle, and my plan is I'm just going to push that through. I have it threaded with both the green and the orange, and I am going to do a blanket stitch. Now as you saw there, it was actually quite hard to put it through, and it's unlikely that you do have one of these oversized needles, but yeah, I'm going to see how I go. If I need to use a smaller needle and just use one piece of wool, then I will do. But blanket stitch is quite easy. You push it through. Yeah, I'm going to have to rethink and go for a... And then you pick up the loop, so that's what you're left with. And it's quite a nice decorative stitch, but we can get away with it because it's fleece. Alright, I am going to pause the video and get another step done. So I'm going to get this finished and then you'll be able to see it. And I'll probably do a little bit more of this sewing, so yeah. Alright, I'll time it as well because sometimes I don't. And yeah, I'll let you know how long it took me. Alright, thank you. Hi, so we're coming to the end now. Oh, the camera's tired. Oh no. Yeah, and I'm just sewing on the taggly bits and the earlobes, yeah? So it's the same again. Oh, I'm going to have to do something about this. Oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, you know, they say you learn something every day. Alright, so all I'm doing is I'm placing it in the sewing machine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew along the hemline so that the stitches don't sew. And I'm stretching the wool out over the fabric. This is so that it doesn't get caught up. I don't want it to tangle. Alrighty. So that's that. I've also got the needle still in here. Now I struggled through with the tapestry needle, and yeah, I kind of got a better technique, but it would really like a sharp needle. One thing that I would recommend is that you don't start in the middle, because I've started literally at the front in the middle. So I would recommend you didn't start there, because it's going to be the bit that's a bit untidy. Alright, I'm just going to knot the beginning thread and the end thread. Yeah, who could tell? There's so many bits of orange and green wool. Did I say that my favourite colours are orange and lime green? Oh, they are. Yeah. Okay, I've got sewing thread there, so I'm just going to tidy that up. Now I really don't know if I could put hairspray on it. I was expecting it to be more sticky-uppy than floppy, but yeah. Do you think I could put hairspray in it? Okay. And then I'm just going to take these and just put a plait on them. Yeah. If it gets really cold, then I can always tie it up. So, yes, you can't really see it. I've got to wear a bit. Come back a bit. Yeah. I have no idea if it makes this any sense. I'm going to let a friend watch it before I put it up. And one of those friends that doesn't lie, you know. Yes, it makes perfect sense. So yes, if you've got a ski hat to copy, then copy it. Yeah, that would be excellent. But it's basically a dome, but you need to higher the front and you need to lower the back. If you're going to put ear flaps on, then measure where your ears are, because it's quite surprising how far back they are. And yeah, give it a go, really. Yes, you know, just do your measurements and you know what it looks like. I know you know what it looks like. If I draw a picture of a skull, then you'd go, that's a skull. So, you know, yeah. But go with it, have fun with it, and hopefully I'll catch you again. Thanks for watching.